Hi, I'm Karl Schoening, the digital media coordinator for the Bobcat Club, and thank you for tuning in to the first ever Bobcat Club podcast. Today, our guest is Karen Chisum. As many of you know, Coach Chisum coached the Bobcat volleyball team for 40 years and retired on December 9th with a record of 919 wins, 559 losses, and 3 ties. On today's episode, Coach Chisum talks about her 4-decade career at Texas State, new Texas State volleyball coach Sean Hewitt, and what she plans to do in retirement, as well as so much more. And now, episode 1 of the Bobcat Club podcast with Karen Chisum. It's the first episode ever of the Bobcat Club podcast. I'm Karl Schoening, and we start off with a bang with Karen Chisum. And you went out with a bang. You had a great season here, and I'm so happy to have you as the first guest on the podcast.
I'm honored. This is exciting. I'm anxious to hear it, listen, see what it looks like, and I hope we do well.
Yeah, I think people are just anxious to hear from you. You know, it's been quite a whirlwind of the last few days.
Yes, it has.
Retire, and I think 40 is a nice round number, don't you?
I do. That wasn't planned that way. It just happened that this year, it's almost like the stars were aligned. You know, we got the 40th. I hit my 900th. We had the conference tournament here in San Marvelous. We won that. Coach of the Year. Went on to NCAAs. Back-to-back. How can you beat that? I know with a three-peat, everybody's told me, Coach, we can beat it with a three-peat. But no, I just felt like it was the right time. So it's been quiet. I mean, I didn't know for sure, really, until after that last match Thursday night. And then I took 3 days off, went to Orlando with my nephew and his family, went to Disneyland, cleared my mind, and came back Monday and made the announcement.
Wow. Yeah, so it was something that you basically weren't sure about until you came back, huh?
Yeah, I had been talking to Tracy Shoemake. I mean, I've got to give her plenty of time to find that next head coach. And I had told her it was 95% sure, so I was leaning that way. But then over the Thanksgiving holidays, Aaron, my partner, we talked a lot about it. Pros and cons. Oh, my God, what are you going to do? Are you going to be bored? Take care of yourself. You're Texas State. You're Coach Chisum. How can you leave? Was what she kept asking. And there's going to be another coach that follows me. At some point, I got to leave. You know, everybody does at some point. But I just felt after that and leaving for 3 days and seeing Mickey and talking to Mickey Mouse about it, and he thought it was a good idea. I texted Tracy and told her for sure, you know, this is it. So we made asked the kids to meet at 3 o'clock Monday afternoon, and we released it.
Yeah, that's quite a crazy series of events, obviously.
That was tough.
Yeah, because, you know, we can go back. We have 40 years to talk about, but, you know, most recently you won the Sun Belt Conference tournament here in San Marcos. You went up to the Austin Regional, and just a fun end of the season.
Right.
And, yeah, you know, there's sort of just – that's how it is. You're now in retirement. So what are your plans for retirement? Yeah, I know.
You know, I really haven't thought that far ahead. Everybody's asking me that. I want to breathe. I want to relax for a little bit. This month of December is busy. I go next week up north to convention. I want to finish with the volleyball convention. My family comes in this weekend for Chisum Christmas, leave Christmas Day to go to Red River, New Mexico for a week, and then come January 1st, then I can sit and relax. But, you know, I'm an active person. I want to remain active. I want to stay as young as I can, as long as I can, and I'm healthy right now. So I love pickleball. I've gotten into golf. I'm going to get better in golf. I'm going to play a lot of golf. If I want to go up to my sister's in Midlothian, I can get up and go. If my brother-in-law wants to go fishing, I'm going fishing. Somebody says, hey, let's go to South Padre. I can go to South Padre. So I can do what I want to do. So I'm looking forward to that. But you know what? I've got a house in New Braunfels. We're not selling it. I'm going to be here most of the time. I'm going to be the best Bobcat fan you've ever seen. I get to sit in the stands, yell at the officials, not worry about getting a red card, and have fun.
Yeah, I bet you've been holding in the a few things that you've been meaning to say to the officials over the years.
I really haven't. I've been pretty good, but yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, you were telling me that that's going to be one of the best parts of being retired is to be a big Bobcat
Yep.
fan. You're not going to be with the university in any kind of official administrative capacity, but you're going to definitely be around.
That is a true statement. And, I've missed many a football game, and I'm a football fan. And with Jake Spavital coming in, he and I have really gotten close. Big supporter of that man. He's going to be great, and football's going to move on where it should. So I look forward to seeing football games around the volleyball schedule and basketballs, etc. But I don't care if the football team is in App State. You might see me in Boone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to following the Bobcats every way I can.
Awesome. Well, kind of shifting gears back to when you were the coach of the Texas State volleyball team, it's hard to probably pick out one thing or 5 things or a dozen things, but where would you start if someone were to, ask you, where does the story of Coach Chisum start and have its highlights? And, because we're here at the end, obviously.
Yeah. You're sitting in my office right now. I haven't even shared this with you, but look up on the wall, and there's a picture of 40 teams. Until recently, I would always tell people that's my first 40 teams at Texas State. I can now say that is the 40 teams that I have coached at Texas State. Every one of those student athletes have had a major impact on this program and my life. So I have kept this forever, and it started with the first 20 after my 20th year. I was given that by my staff at the banquet, and then we went 5 years at a time, and now we hit 40, and we composed all our compressed all of those and put them into one. So that's the highlight of Texas State volleyball in Karen Chisum's career. Everyone, as I've told everybody, I've never played a point. They earned every point that we won. They won every ball game. I've been fortunately to be their head coach and leader. But where does it start? I'm going to tell you, it started with Coach Miller. Bill Miller, your dad probably knew, you wouldn't have. He was the athletic director when I was in college. I went off to San Marcos High School and New Braunfels High School, coached, and he gave me a call, I guess back in 1978 in the summer, and needed an assistant volleyball basketball coach at that point. And I had a very successful career at New Braunfels High School. And I was ready to make the move, so I came up here as assistant for 2 sports, volleyball and basketball. And believe me, I don't know anything about basketball. My job was a motivator and conditioning, because we did not have our own strength conditioning coaches back then. So had fun with Dana Kraft, who was the head coach. And then in 1980, Chris Mayhew was the head coach. She moved on, and I was able to move on up. I don't remember an interview. I think Coach Miller just says, hey, you got it. Go get it. And here I am, 40 years later. The game has changed a lot. Student athletes, I'm always asked, have the players changed? The game's changed them. Technology has changed them. Our lifestyles have changed them, but they've still got a heart. And it wasn't hard to get them to take ownership of the program, but it's taken a while. But it's been a great career. So keep asking questions and I'll answer. I could talk forever.
Oh, yeah.
But I go from here to there, so keep me on track.
We're only about 10 minutes into it, so, we have a lot of ground to cover. And you bring it up when you first came here. Didn't have a strength and conditioning coach.
No.
You were doing dual sports, and now over all of the years, it's went from Southwest Texas State to Texas State University. They have a school system that spreads across the state. Yeah, exactly. I don't have the list in front of me, so I don't want to start naming universities. But, yeah, it's been quite a development of just the university and the athletic department.
Yeah, going back to that, I was a student at Southwest Texas State College when I first came up here. 1968, graduated from Pecos High School. Followed my cousin, Lloyd Chisum. He played basketball here for Coach Mack. And he and I were best friends. He's a year older than I was. So I came up here as a student, played tennis and softball. I've told this story many times. Then got out, as I said, 3 years at San Marcos High School, 3 years at New Braunfels High School. But, yeah, the university has grown tremendously. As a student, when I came up in 68, it was about 8,000 students. Probably when I came to work here in 80, maybe 12, 14. But the growth of this university, it's been amazing to watch it. From the buildings to the expansion, West Campus used to be San Marcos Baptist Academy. We bought that. I don't remember what year it was, but then, gosh, all of a sudden we had our main campus and a west campus. So that was kind of fun. But regarding the athletic department, when I started, we were certainly not NCAA. Women were not allowed. Their sports were not in NCAA. We were AIAW, which was the Association of Intercollegiate Athletics for Women.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. We'd have a conference, and actually you can go back to my first couple of years. I'm not for sure we even had stats. I was the coach. And I guess my first year I did have what we call a graduate assistant. We taped the kids' ankles. I took athletic training under Dr. Patton. Anybody that came through here did the same thing. Bobby Patton, who just retired about 4 years ago. We taped the ankles. We drove the van. We did it all. But my kids now laugh when I try to swing at a ball or hit a ball at them or serve. It's not quite like it used to be, but I did it all. So to progressing, and I can't even remember. I'm not for sure we lifted weights then, because I can't even picture a weight room back when I started. And it's evolved, needless to say. So now, yes, I've got a strength conditioning trainer. I got a weight conditioning coach, 2 full-time assistants, a volunteer coach, a grad assistant, an administrative assistant. Shoot, what do I have to do? Why did I leave this? And one of my hardest things I'll always remember is learning to delegate, because that was hard. You did it all yourself, and all of a sudden you get an assistant and go, what do I give her or him? But delegating and letting go of certain responsibilities was tough. But I've gotten good at that. So now the more I could give away, the better it was. So yes, it has evolved tremendously.
We hear your computer maybe going off in the background.
Oh,
it's not a problem, but this, I'm sure you've probably had no peace from people trying to contact you, reach out, and what have people been saying, and just what are your general thoughts on how the response has been?
It's been tough, I'm going to tell you, in a positive way. Since Monday when the announcement came out, I got home Monday evening, and I just on my iWatch technology again. It's amazing. I had 74 text messages that I hadn't looked at.
Wow.
And I hadn't even gone to email or social media, and I left it alone that night. And then whether it was stress-related or what, I started throwing up that night about 2:30 in the morning, and I was sick as a dog next day. And my first thought was, if this is what retirement's about, I don't want it. But it was a 24-hour bug, I guess. I did not look at anything all day Tuesday. And Wednesday morning, I got up feeling fine and started looking and reading. And I have not responded to everybody at this point. I haven't had time. But it's amazing the outpouring of love, support, respect, comments, Karl, that I've gotten. It's amazing. I knew I was well respected. It's been bittersweet. But I'm blessed. And I will tell you, when Sean Hewitt was named my successor, it took so much off my shoulder. I was ecstatic. He's a great guy. He's the right guy. Transition for our kids, for the program. For me, selfishly, is so much easier now. It's in good hands. I know I can come up here now anytime and say hi and feel comfortable. And I'm going to distance myself. I'm going to give him his space and let him do his job. But I'm ecstatic that Sean Hewitt is our next head coach.
Oh, yeah, Sean's great.
Can
you go back to just how you know Sean and what he's been like as an assistant for you?
I did know him 14 years ago when this position, I had to open, I guess it was my second assistant. We advertised it and got several applicants. I brought him in for a visit. Little short, pudgy guy, young, but he was just personable. He knew the game. He had some contacts in the Ohio. He's from Cincinnati, an out-of-state contact guy, and we just meshed. And so it gave him an opportunity. God, what a blessing. He fell in love with Texas State University. He's a competitor. That's the one thing I'm going to tell you about Sean Hewitt. He's a competitor. He's going to fight. He's going to find a way to win. But he stayed with me. He's been loyal. But he's just grown. To watch him mature. And that's one of the things that's coaching for student athletes that come in as freshmen. That's one of the fun things about it, is to watch him grow and mature in 4 years. But going back to Sean, his growth as a professional and as a young man, that's really been fun. He's got a 4-year-old now. He adopted Declan as the kid was 3 days old, open adoption. And he's added tons to Sean. Sean had to grow up. He's a daddy now. But he is a people person, loves kids. So he was raising this young boy as a single dad. And, that's admiration right there. To see somebody that wants a family. He's not married. He doesn't have a partner or a spouse. And he takes this child in. That's heartwarming. But to watch him and Declan grow together has been amazing. But he loves people, like I said. He's ready. He's knowledgeable. He's got to put his staff together, but give him time. When the way actually the release came out and it says the new era, Coach Sean Hewitt, I loved it. So now he and I walk around and said, I'm the old, he's the new, so you get to pick.
Well, we're happy to have Sean, and I'm happy that you're happy with the result. It happened really quick, and I know that was something that you were happy about too.
I was, because Monday afternoon, I was telling you at 3 o'clock, we had called a team meeting. And the kids, I told them it was an end of the year meeting, which happens all the other time. So we talked about, we designed our championship ring. They took ring sizes, so that was fun. We talked a little bit of academics, finals coming up, etc. And then I started with, you know what? I have had a great run at Texas State. I love this place, and you guys know that. And then as I talked and stuff, trying to keep it light, there were a few tears. I looked around, and you could tell the kids were figuring out what I was telling them. A few tears from this kid. Look around, here's a few more tears. And before it's all over and done with, my voice was cracking. They're bawling. I'm bawling. And fortunately, Tracy Shoemake had come in with us because I wanted her to address the team as to what's next. How are you going to hire this next head coach? What do you want out of this next head coach? And I guess selfishly, I hadn't thought about it. I thought they'd be kind of sad or upset that I was leaving, but I never thought about how scared they would be as to what happens to me, what happens to them. New coaching staff coming in, they could bring their own players. They could get rid of these guys. What about me? And I assured them, you guys are a top 35 program in this nation. Why would anybody come in and want to deplete the roster? You're safe. Don't worry about that. And then, it was tough. That afternoon was tough for the kids. And, of course, it's finals week, so they're stressed over finals. Now we put this on them. So I was extremely glad that the administration moved as fast as they could. And I will tell you, I endorsed Sean from the beginning. Tracy Shoemake and I had a lot of conversations about him, talked to Larry Tice. I think Tracy did her job. She listened and opened up and let people call her. Because as soon as the word got out, she had phone calls coming in. But you know what? And I agree with this. She said, I didn't get as many phone calls as I expected because so many people expected it to be an in-house. I've had 2 associate head coaches with me, one for 18 and one for 14 years. So it's kind of the handwriting on the wall that one of those 2 would probably be the next head coach at Texas State University. So she was able to get Dr. Tice and Dr. Trouse approval, actually within 24 to 48 hours, I guess, 48 hours. And she called me Wednesday morning, 9:30. I was walking into the office. She asked me how I was feeling because I had been ill the day before. I said, God, feeling tons better. She says, I've got good news for you. And at that point, I thought, this is it. And Sean's with me right now. I've offered him the head job, and he's accepted. And oh my God, Sean and I both were bawling. Him over the phone, me over here. But the relief, the emotions, it was great. Kids had finals that day, so we couldn't get them together till 2 o'clock. Sean and I hid behind the wall in the locker room. Tracy went in and announced it. And just the look and the emotions that they were displaying, the relief, I just can't tell you what that felt. I was so happy for the kids and for Sean. And for me now, because I feel great now. I'm ready to move on and, live the next chapter of my life. But I'm glad for the kids. The transition for them will be much easier. And for the program, and for the boosters, and the fans that know the coaching staff. And that's what the people that I've seen, I've asked them, make sure, you continue doing what you're doing, and that's following Bobcat volleyball, giving Sean the support he deserves. He's personable. He'll be out there. He'll keep everybody tied to the program and increase it.
Awesome. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you have some administrative stuff to wrap up.
I didn't know how to retire. So I'm going to tell you, I went to Human Resources yesterday, and Heather gave me the checklist, and the first one said 6 months before retirement. And I went, oops, this is what you're supposed to do. I went, oops, I missed that deadline. So now I'm working on all my retirement papers, Medicare, etc. So I do have some things I've got to get done.
Yeah, well, just one couple things I wanted to end with. First off, that Tuesday night, I know you weren't feeling great, but you still had a champions dinner. How was that? And, maybe explain to people who don't know about it what it is.
That's a good question. Dr. Trowell started several years ago. Any championship team, conference championship team, she would have a dinner for them, just for the student athletes and the coaches. Not the rest of the staff, not anybody else. So it was strictly for the student athletes to tell them congratulations and thank you. We normally would go to her house. So the kids got to go to the president's house and have dinner. This year, for whatever reason, with the new Castro room opened up here in the UEC, we had it over here. And it was nice. The kids all dressed up. It's a nice affair. You don't get to see them dressed up too often. They're always in uniforms or shorts. So it's just nice for me to see the president of the university celebrate our victories for the kids. So that was nice. Food was great, although I did not eat a thing that night because it had not been a fun day for me. But extremely proud and thankful that she does those things.
And one last thing, and you can even look into the camera if you want. It's your platform. What do you want to say? And, what does the Bobcat Club mean to you and the fans and everybody? I know it's hard wrap up, but if you could put a bow on this first podcast, it's all you.
I tell you what, I have been blessed. To be at Texas State University all these years, Southwest Texas as I started. I tell everybody, as particularly a recruiter, I think this is the best university in the nation, not just the state. And with all the upgrades of our facilities, our locker rooms, this is a major D1 program, Division I athletic program. The university itself, I think, speaks for itself. So as I recruited kids, I will always tell them this: you're going to get a quality education, bar none. You're going to get an opportunity to play in a very competitive, family-oriented volleyball program. And 3, be surrounded by good people. And I think that's the key to so much. And I have been surrounded by great people during my careers, starting with the student athletes, my staff, the administration, the faculty staff at Texas State. And look around in San Marvelous and New Braunfels and, what a place. This is a great area people want to live in. But I can't say enough for all of you that have embraced me. Throughout the years, I have developed and established tons of wonderful, wonderful relationships and lifelong friends that I will never forget. And I just one more time want to say thank you to Bobcat Nation. I love you, and you will see me around. That's a promise.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy retirement. You have a 900 win ceremony coming up in Pittsburgh is what you're saying? So you got a lot going on.
At National Convention, the 900, they award the coaches that after 500, you get special recognition, 6, 7. And there's only, I think, 3 of us this year. I'm not even sure there's 3 that get the 900 Victory Award.
Awesome. Well, enjoy that. Enjoy retirement. I'm sure we'll be able to get you for random features to update you on, update people and fans on how you're doing and, how retirement's going. But thank you so much for the time today.
And I've said this a million times. Once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. And today it's a great day to be a Bobcat.
Oh, it's an awesome day to be a Bobcat. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Karl.
Thanks again for listening to the Bobcat Club podcast, and thank you again to our guest, Karen Chisum, for joining us. If you're interested in supporting the Bobcat Club, you can visit our website, txstatebobcatclub.com. If you would like to sponsor any digital media content that the Bobcat Club produces, you can contact me at ks1708@txstate.edu. All sponsorships help Texas State athletic scholarships. Until next time, I've been Karl Schoening. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Bobcat Club podcast.